Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben Eller here with a brand new Patreon only video just for you guys, my most lovely and loyal of supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. If you hear the soft hum of an air conditioning unit and the chatter of birds, it's because I have the deck to the patio open over here because my air conditioning is currently out. So I'm just keeping a little breeze going through here, so deal with the lovely serene sounds of Knoxville, Tennessee throughout this video. But I just had a sudden thought about making a video for you guys that would dispel and hopefully answer questions regarding one of the topics in music theory that has the most bad answers possible in history, and that is the use of sharps versus flats. I remember hearing from so many people, and I still hear this from so many people, that sharps are when you're going up and flats are when you're going down. I have no idea where people picked up this information, but I've heard it repeated verbatim. I think Big Keyboard is out there keeping us guitar players in the dark, spreading this misinformation. So I'm here to put Big Keyboard to rest and tell the truth about this stuff. It's a crazy simple answer. And I want to tell you guys about how I learned about it, because like most learning experiences, it comes with a little bit of a story. Real quick, just so you'll know, I'm playing this iconic Guitars La Playa right here, which is utterly phenomenal. They sent me this guitar just to check out and see what I thought about it, and I hate to tell them, but they're not getting it back. It's amazing. Playing through the Fryette Deliverance Synergy module, which sounds so freaking awesome. Helps to turn the tone knob up, doesn't it? Isn't that sick? The chorus on that is coming from the UA aux, by the way, which is amazing. Okay, anyway, gear details aside, let's talk about this. So I had taken guitar lessons for a couple of years and learned a bit of basic theory and stuff from my teacher. I had been teaching guitar lessons for a few years, and then when I was in college, even though I was an art major, I took a couple music theory classes, just as like a refresher on sight reading more than anything. Because most of the stuff they were talking about in those intro to music theory courses, stuff about the major scale and intervals and stuff, I was already pretty familiar with that, but I felt like it would be a good excuse to brush up on my sight reading, which it was. But I remember this one day in class, which was not catered around guitar or anything, by the way. This is just general music theory. We did some singing, some mashing up notes on the piano, stuff like that. Not catered to guitar players at all. And this one day in class, our teacher was having us, write out some scales on the musical staff paper, right? The little black dots that we hear grown-up musicians talk about. So we were writing out scales. And I was like, G scale, I know that one. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. C scale, no problem. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then the next one there was the F scale. The F major scale. Now, I answered this like a guitar player. I answered it like this. On the paper, I wrote out F, G, A. What do you think about this note as? Usually A sharp. That's what most guitar players would call this note. If you just, shook them awake in the middle of the night and asked them what note that is, they'd say A sharp. That's what I did. F, G, A sharp, C, D, E, F. That's what I wrote down for my my answers here. And my teacher was like, you're pretty close, but that's actually not correct. So what do you mean it's not correct? It's like, and I think I even had a guitar in my lap or something that day, and I played it, and I was like, that's the notes of scale. She's like, yeah, but you didn't name them right. What? She's like, yeah, it's not A sharp, it's B flat. And that kind of blew my guitar player brain, because I'm like, that's the same note. Tomato, tomato. Some people say they tune down to E flat, some people say they tune down to D sharp. What difference does it make? It's the same note. And this is when my teacher completely blew my mind, just in casual conversation, like, oh yeah, it's like she just said the sky is blue or something. She tells me, every scale contains all 7 letters. Let me break that down to you again. Every major scale or minor scale is 7 notes, right? 7 note scales. Every one of those scales will contain every letter of the musical alphabet. Some kind of A, some kind of B, some kind of C, some kind of D, some kind of E, some kind of F, and some kind of G. That's the 7 letters we use in the musical alphabet. This broke my brain, okay? And I got to thinking about it, and you know, I think a lot of guitar players, we kind of get in the habit of thinking of sharps over flats because most of the keys that we play in feature sharps. Key of G, right? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. The key of A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. A lot of the popular keys for guitar are the ones that feature sharps. So a lot of us, unless probably you grew up playing jazz and stuff, just don't tend to think about flats as often. So I think that's why my brain was kind of stuck in answering things with F, G, A sharp, C, D, E, F, like a lot of guitar players. But again, if you look at what I just said right there, F, G, A sharp, C, D, E, F, where's the B, right? It's just like that, what was it, Wendy's commercial when we were all young in the early 80s? Where's the B? F, G, A sharp, C. I just went from some kind of A to another kind of A to a C. I completely jumped a letter of the alphabet. So, here's the thing with this stuff. At first, you know, I was kind of like resentful about this whole thing where I was like, who cares, you know? Whether I'm calling it A sharp or B flat in my head. What's it matter, you know? And then after I thought about this, and especially as I taught this principle over and over, it all started to make more and more sense to me because it makes sense with an organizational kind of outlook. It makes it all make a lot more sense. Whenever you go into playing any scale, and you can tell yourself, every scale is going to have all 7 letters in it, and it's going to go in alphabetical order. If you just played some kind of C, some kind of D is next. After that, you can bet that there's some kind of E, then some kind of F, a type of G, an A, some kind of B. You get what I'm saying. They might be sharp, they might be flat, but you're always going to be following the contour of the freaking alphabet, something that we've all known since we were 5 years old, right? Or, you know, 17, since I was homeschooled. But that alone makes this so much easier to organize. And it makes all of our scales seem so much less random. Because I remember back in the day, before I understood the use all 7 letters kind of principle, this all did just seem very haphazard. You know, like why is an A Lydian scale? A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. That was like memorizing, you know, phone numbers or something to me. It's like, I don't know, it's this way because that's the numbers you call to get to that person, right? But in reality, again, even if I look at that scale and I say to myself, okay, does it follow the alphabet? A, B, C sharp, again, some kind of C, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. I used all 7 letters of the alphabet and they were all in order. It's actually this easy. So that's why the F scale should be F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Because if we didn't, we'd be breaking the alphabet. How simple is this? Don't break the alphabet. Okay, so this is where things get really crazy, because you'll notice that as you go through different scales and you're naming them off and naming those notes off alphabetically, you'll notice that there's only scales with sharps and there's only scales with flats. And if you misname one of them, you're going to end up skipping letters in the alphabet. Let me give you an example. So like, let's say, for example, I was playing a B scale. B has a lot of altered notes and stuff in it. Check this out. So I'll do it on one string. Now, if I was playing through that scale and I was naming off these notes like they're not supposed to be, and I did it like this. Let's say I went B, and then I played this note. What if I was one of those guitar players that thought of this note as D flat, because that's what it showed up as on my tuner or my poster on my, you know, closet door that I have with all the notes on it, whatever. B, D flat, okay? Let's say I learned this note as E flat, maybe because that's where you tune down or something, right? B, D flat, E flat, E, F sharp, A flat, B flat, B. I just left out so many letters of the alphabet. I blew it, right? Like I left out half of the notes that we have right there. I broke the alphabet. That doesn't work, and that would be impossible to memorize because it just looks like a bunch of random notes, right? But again, use a logic. If I just played some kind of B, then this note is bound to be some kind of C. This note's C, so it's C sharp. If I just played some kind of C next to some kind of D, again, that's D, so this is D sharp. B, C sharp, D sharp. After D is E. Following E is some kind of F, in this case F sharp. After some kind of F is some kind of G, so in this case G sharp. After G is going to be some kind of A, in this case A sharp. And then we're back at B again. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. Follow the freaking alphabet. Why did nobody ever tell me this? And I get the impression that I'm not the only one that was in the dark with this, because over the years of teaching, every time I show some guitar player that has been playing as long, if not longer than I have, this stuff, it blows their mind, you know? If somebody is still not really, what am I trying to say? If somebody's still not aware of that follow the alphabet kind of idea, and they've just been memorizing scales arbitrarily, just random assortment of notes, this always blows their mind. Somebody isn't telling us this stuff, and I don't know why. Use all 7 letters. Okay, so I was saying a second ago, keys that have sharps in them. Keys that have flats in them. There's no mixing of the two. So for example, if in order to maintain the alphabetical order, you end up playing a flat note, that guarantees that the only other things that are going to be in that scale are flats. There's not going to be sharps in there, for example. Let's do like a B flat scale, for example. Okay, so I'm starting here on this note. I'm going to use my neck pickup here. So check this out, B flat scale. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. I use some kind of B, some kind of C, some kind of D, some kind of E, F, G, A, and so on. Used all 7 letters. I did it. Now, if you're going through this, and you instead were thinking of this note as, like let's say A sharp, for example. Watch how quickly it breaks the alphabet. A sharp. What's this note? Okay, your guitar poster is going to tell you it's a C. So if we just go from A sharp to C, again, there's our problem. Where's the B, right? We skip the letter of the alphabet. And it just gets worse too. A sharp, C, D, D sharp, F. I just skipped E, right? D, D sharp, F. Where's the E? G, A sharp. Again, I used 2 letters in a row right there that were the same. So that breaks the alphabet when you do it that way. Can't do it. Let's try the same thing with E flat. Okay, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Again, use the alphabet in order. We know how the alphabet goes, right? So then you just got to make those, flat, sharps, whatever. If I thought of this as D sharp, breaks the alphabet. D sharp. What is this? F, right? Okay, well, what if I just totally BS'd it and I was like, D sharp, E sharp? That way I won't break the alphabet? Well, what's this note? G. Okay, so what did I just say? D sharp, E sharp, G. I still skipped the letter in the alphabet. Where's the F, right? So, just calling them the right thing keeps that alphabetical order in progress the entire time. It makes this so much easier to understand and easier to memorize. After I understood that everything's going to follow the alphabet, I was able to memorize all these scales so much easier. And this is kind of a miraculous thing, and the only point where it gets kind of broke is this guy right here. Let's call it the F sharp scale, shall we? We were so close to having this perfect, but you kind of reach a dead end right here. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp? There's no such note as E sharp, that's an F note. F sharp. Okay, so I had to make up an imaginary note, E sharp, to make that one work. Dang it. G flat, maybe I should have called this G flat. G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat? That's a B note. C flat, D flat, E flat, F, G flat. So either way with that scale, you have to make up an irrational note, whether that be B sharp or F flat, whatever crap it was that we just did right there. That's the only one where it kind of falls apart, but you know what? We don't use that key much anyway, so who cares? Okay, so that's the basic gist of it. All 7 letters in every scale. Make sure you're not breaking the alphabet, and you'll always name your scales off right, and you'll be able to memorize them better. Again, this isn't just an OCD thing. It actually makes memorizing this stuff easier. Crazy, right? Why didn't anybody tell us this stuff? So that's a little bit rambling, freestyle and stuff, but I just had to get this off my chest and get you guys educated on it. So hopefully that was something you guys can use and incorporate to your playing and thinking about music for the rest of your dang old lives. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all the support here on Patreon. I'll be catching you guys soon enough. Let me know if you guys want some more little theory tidbits like this one for future Patreon-only content. Cheers, guys.